Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another video we're bringing you here today, in which we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super, and more specifically a question that all of you have been asking about for a very long time now, and that is, how strong is Gohan right now and throughout the course of Dragon Ball Super? And so we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super, the show. So when we talk about, say, Resurrection F, we're going to be talking about that arc. We're not going to be talking about the movie, which makes no sense whatsoever, so we can never figure that out. We're talking about the show, because the show is basically the canon right now anyway. But before we get into this subject, I'm going to introduce my two guests for today. First off, from the land of old age and retirement homes, his name is...
Yes, guys, it is Josh from Dragon Ball Nation. What's going on?
And also, I have with me MJ from Geeklist TV.
What's up, everyone? MJ here, or you can just call me the Geek Lister.
Today, we're basically going to be answering that question for all of you, because everyone keeps asking me, oh, Gohan is really weak in Dragon Ball Super right now, isn't he? He's clearly weaker than he was as a kid. No, you're wrong, and we're going to prove why. So, first off, do you think we should start in Super in the beginning, or do you think we should just skip to Resurrection F? Because in the beginning of Super, he's still in Mystic.
You can put that one just where you saw him in Battle of Gods, in my mind, are pretty similar.
Yeah.
I'd say just skip to the Resurrection F arc. Again, just so people are double clear on this, we're not talking about the movie because the movie's power scaling and all the dialogue makes zero sense. They're pretty much making Piccolo, you know, look like someone as strong as Zarbon, essentially.
Yeah, so when we talk about Super, we're going to just skip to Resurrection F because, you know, he's probably the same as strength of Mystic Gohan was in the beginning, and you can go over to my How Strong Was Gotenks video, in which I described how strong Gotenks is, how strong Super Buu was, and how strong Mystic Gohan or Ultimate Gohan is in relation to them. But let's start off with the Resurrection of F arc, and I'll throw it over to Josh first. How strong do you think he was in Resurrection F?
Well, in Super, I don't want to give away everything because I know we all have our things to say, but we were talking off air, and I think it's pretty easy to say he could be easily around where he was in the Buu Saga, if not a little bit weaker than that. I don't see him being stronger necessarily, but there's also some contradicting elements that I know MJ probably will bring up later, or Mike, one of you two, but I feel like the Super Saiyan, me and Mike were talking about this before in different points in time, that the Super Saiyan that he uses might actually unlock the quote-unquote mystic or hidden potential that he once had. It might fully bring that out. Upon that, we see him power up to that extreme measure without Super Saiyan, but with that mysterious, you know, quote-unquote mystical looking aura. You know, it's a very different sparkly aura when he powered up to let, you know, so Goku could sense his ki to transmission.
Yes.
I would say it's safe to say that Gohan that, you know, passed out like a little girl at that point would have definitely been the strongest he'd ever been. I think it's implied to be that. I know you guys have your own points to make that I can bounce off of later.
Yeah, that definitely seems very reasonable, because that's what I assume too. I assume that he still pretty much has mystic power left over in his base, because how the hell else could he even begin to compete with Piccolo? And they never said Piccolo got weaker, even in the movie, which doesn't make any sense, but in the series, they never said Piccolo got weaker. He trains all the time, so it only makes sense that he would have gotten stronger. In the Buu Saga, they said in the anime that he was stronger than ever, so I think it's possible that he might be around, you know, even Super Saiyan 2 Gohan at this point, at least teen Gohan maybe, because he's been training for so many years since the Cell Saga. But MJ, you have your own particular theory, which definitely is very convincing and is very interesting. How strong do you think he was, and what's your theory and evidence to back it up?
I believe he could be stronger. Now, I'm not saying, you know, he was 2 times stronger for that matter, but I do believe he was stronger than Tagoma or Ginyu in Tagoma's body. But my theory starts from the very beginning when Tagoma's introduced as Frieza's training partner, and how when he powers up, Gohan states he's hiding power comparable to his best or prime, whichever version you read the subs on, and that would indicate that Tagoma is around Mystic Gohan, I would assume, unless he was talking about his best now, then I don't know, like, but I think that's a pretty good argument right there. And the fact that Tagoma decimates Piccolo, which we pretty much all agree on that Piccolo would be around SSJ2 Teen Gohan, he decimates him, tears his arm off with ease, and Piccolo needs a Senzu Bean like after 1 or 2 shots, so it's like...
Yeah, and base Gohan is fighting him, and base Gohan seems stronger than Piccolo. I mean, look at how he just wrecked Sashimi, so...
Yeah.
But, I mean, also, to kind of elaborate further on that too, Gohan beats defeats him and gets put down by Frieza in his first form, but Gohan had overpowered this guy, and when you think about it, Gohan obviously wasn't going to be talking about his teen Gohan state because we all know he was significantly more powerful as Mystic Gohan, but even further, when Captain Ginyu took over Tagoma's bot, they specifically say that his power is even higher than it was before. So somehow, even though it doesn't make any sense, Captain Ginyu seemed to be able to activate Tagoma's powers to levels even higher than before, and Gohan still knocked him down and beat him. So it makes sense, and it's arguable to suggest that he was stronger than Mystic Gohan, or at least around there, and Gohan could have potentially, with his Super Saiyan pushing beyond his limits, which is why he can't hold it for too long, able to defeat someone who is stronger than even he was in the past in quote-unquote his peak or prime.
And the weird thing that we were talking about off air is that he says, oh, you know, he's comparable to how I was in my prime, and now Ginyu makes him even stronger. Gohan's prime, if he can beat the Ginyu, Gohan's prime will be his current self.
Yeah.
And one thing, we talked about Gohan's base being stronger than Piccolo. We were saying off air is like comparable to like Perfect Cell all the way up to Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
Yeah.
You know, in that realm, one thing people need to really understand is this Gohan must have some of that hidden potential or the unlocked power still in him, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because a good way to gauge base forms, and this is like a simple way to look at it, in the Buu Saga, when Goku and Vegeta were powering up and to fight each other, when it was Majin Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 2 Goku, when Goku goes Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta in that instant, not before, but in that instance, he says, well, at least you're stronger than your son was against Cell, which Gohan and Cell were kind of comparable. That shows that Goku's base form will be nowhere near Cell's level, but that Gohan's is in this arc for Super really tells you how strong he was. You know, at least he must have had some of the mystic or hidden potential, because if he didn't, there's no way his base would be that strong.
And let's think about it like this too. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like me saying this, but Mystic Gohan was stronger than Goku as a Super Saiyan 3. And when we say this, look at Gohan's, like, you know, base strength. Let's say that Gohan is 2 times as strong as Piccolo at that point in time, and Piccolo is comparable to Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan. Well, obviously twice that would be equal to Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So if we use a multiplier for Super Saiyan, that would mean that Gohan as a Super Saiyan when he beat Tagoma would be around 25 times stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which still fits essentially in line with what he was as his ultimate or mystic form. So it seems like even though this, you know, I don't really know, as Josh would probably say, they didn't think about this shit when they were actually making it.
Of course not.
It still does kind of line up with everything that we've been talking about, and it makes sense that Gohan is as strong, or even could be stronger as a Super Saiyan than he was in his mystic form. So all these people are saying, oh, Gohan could barely turn into a Super Saiyan. Gohan is just a Super Saiyan 1, so clearly he's probably weaker than he was in the future, or just as strong as his dad was on Namek. That just neglects and just ignores so much evidence that's out there, including in the show itself. Because another thing, MJ, you were bringing up a point about Gotenks. What was that?
Well, I was saying that Gotenks was able to take out Tagoma. He dropped him, and it was like more of a comedic spot. You know, he got hit in the lower area, and nut shot.
I'd get put down no matter how strong I was.
Yeah.
It was a nut shot. He was rolling around, kicking his feet, doing like a little tantrum, and he got up after that. So I'm not too sure like where we would rank that. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a nut shot, but Super Saiyan 1 Gotenks dropped him, I would assume.
I mean, Gotenks couldn't have gotten that much stronger. It's still a fusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people have to remember, it's still a fusion. That's insane power. I don't care how weak they say Goten and Trunks got, that would still be stronger than Cell.
Yeah, and I talked about...
We know in the Buu Saga, he's way stronger than that.
Oh,
so
yeah. He's...
that video.
Yeah, in the video I already mentioned earlier, Super Saiyan 1 Gotenks should have been able to beat Fat Buu himself, like without even turning into a Super Saiyan 3 like he did against Super Buu, which obviously makes him even stronger. So realistically, you know, considering Tagoma does get up pretty quickly, even though, you know, he got hit in the balls, that would place him at well above Majin Buu in terms of power, I would assume. So I think all this lines up. There's no way to really suggest that Gohan is weak at this point in time, but we would have to move a little bit forward because, as we know, Gohan has been training with Piccolo for at least 8 months before this current tournament, and we saw how strong Piccolo got.
Yeah.
So how strong, Josh, would you say that Gohan would be right now?
It's tough because we saw how much stronger Piccolo got. Even though he didn't beat Frost, he did keep up pretty okay with a weakened Frost. I would say Gohan got a pretty big boost. Let's say going from I mean, if you want to put him towards maybe close to Boo Tanks in, let's say, the Resurrection F arc, okay? If we're going to say he's stronger, or you want me to be honest, whatever strength Gohan was at when he powered up and passed out, I'd say that's probably comparable to where he would be now.
I mean, that makes sense.
Maybe not quite to that. Maybe that's what he's working up to. Maybe that is his full potential getting back unleashed. But, you know, the whole potential unlock thing's stupid anyways because it makes it seem like there's a limit on Saiyan power. But
yeah, I mean,
I think that that could be what's working towards him. Maybe it was an illusion because that whole scene was the whole thing where he's like, I need to train now after all of that. So maybe the whole train's building up to that power level.
But realistically...
But we don't know where that is.
Yeah, but realistically, when you look at how strong Piccolo was compared to Frost, now Frost in his third form was stronger than Goku's base form, or at least, you know, equivalent to it. And I really doubt that Frost, like, lost, like, 100 times or whatever his power was when he was fighting Goku, when he was fighting Piccolo.
Right.
He probably wasn't that much weaker, you know? So it would make sense to me that Piccolo would be a good amount stronger than base Goku right now, who was able to beat Final Form Frieza pretty easily, at least in the movie version. You know, he was definitely stronger than him still in the Super version as well. Right. So realistically, that means that Piccolo and Gohan should have gotten a significant boost, and I would assume that Gohan and Piccolo are probably stronger than Gohan was when he went Super Saiyan. So
right, and I want to say though, but they were training, but I don't think Gohan would have gotten as big of a boost Piccolo did because Piccolo was, I guess, sparring with a stronger person that tends to give them a bigger boost than the person that would be sparring with a weaker guy. If that makes
especially
sense.
Piccolo. I mean, he got 100 and something times stronger, you know, during the 3-year gap, and Goku certainly didn't.
That is, of course, if the writing team even thinks of that, which is always the big question.
So what are your thoughts on this, MJ?
It's kind of tough because I personally put base Goku and base Vegeta, you know, after the ROF arc in the tournament above Buhan. So for them to have to go SSJ to put down Final Form Frost, and then Piccolo is keeping up. So with that being said, I mean, like, I don't really want to say that Piccolo and Gohan after 8 months are over Buhan in power, because even like Goku had told, you know, Piccolo, oh, he's no match for you, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard, but I would put them at least around Super Buu tier, above that. I would put them above that, but I'm not too sure if I would say they're above Buhan though. I mean, it's kind of tough, but
I think it makes sense though, because Buhan wasn't even twice as strong as Mystic Gohan, because you got to remember, when Buu absorbs people, it's addition, it's not multiplication. We never see any indication it's multiplication. And when Buu-Tanks had defused inside of him with Gotenks, he was now weak enough for Gohan to beat him. So that means that obviously he would have been equal to Gohan if they were equal in strength at 2 times, you know, if you add 1 to 1. So I think Gohan could have realistically gotten more than twice as strong. I mean, remember in the Buu saga, he trained for like a day with a sword and probably surpassed Goku and Vegeta as Super Saiyan 2s. I mean, Josh, you and I have talked about that a bunch in the past.
Right. Regardless of whatever we've said, I think it's pretty easy to say that at this point, he would pretty much have to be stronger than what he was in the Buu saga.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes
After everything we talked about, even if you want to lowball it, you can't put it any lower than that, I feel like. That's just my personal opinion. And again, there are so many contradicting elements in that Resurrection F arc. Even though it was improved from the movie, that arc was still pretty poorly written in my mind. So those are my thoughts.
I think we accomplished what we did here. I mean, you know, with the video, we pretty much said that we think Gohan is around Mystic level, if not a tiny bit stronger or a tiny bit weaker. Definitely, there's more evidence to that than saying he's around Super Saiyan Goku on Namek, you know?
Well, obviously, but then again, people were saying that Frost was that strong because, you know, reasons. But anyway, this has been our thoughts and, you know, our educated opinions about how strong we think that Gohan is in Dragon Ball Super right now. And I know a lot of people are probably already commenting and saying, you guys are wrong, Gohan is really weak right now. I mean, look how scrawny he is. But, I mean, Goku lost like 100 pounds of pure muscle when he turned to Super Saiyan God, so that doesn't really change anything. But let us know your own thoughts down below.
Goku on Namek compared to now.
Let us know your own thoughts down below. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? I'm sure many of you will disagree, but let us know anyway. And don't forget to go check out MJ's channel, Josh's channel, give them a subscribe, and as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
And you better subscribe.
I'll do it now, you bitch.